So this has got to be the craziest car you're ever going to see on the Exotic Car Hacks channel. You ready for this? All right guys, here we are at Exotic Car Hacks and we are back, and today we are starting and kicking off 2024 with not only the craziest car you'll ever see on the channel, but with a guest, Danny from RMC. Now they've been in Miami and I've been trying to connect with them for a very, very long time because they do vintage sports and race cars that are crazy. Like you may have seen things like RWBs or Initial D looking cars like this, or you know, what do you call this kit?
RMC.
You see, I can't even pronounce that. You guys make fun of me because I can't even pronounce McLaren, and I always say you can pronounce it however you can afford it, right? So tell us a little bit about what RMC is, and then we can talk about why I bought this crazy car that I'll probably never drive.
Sure. Yeah. So basically we specialize in vintage sports cars, modified collector, you know, mainly modified is what we like. Kind of just preservation, performance, aesthetic. You know, original paint, we're kind of the opposite. We kind of like things that are done, you know, to a certain degree and are still kept and preserved in that way, and they got to look good and they got to perform. You know, we kind of just hone down to what a badass car should really be and how it should perform.
So I bought this thing. I don't understand it, and I said this because you guys are laughing, but I never drive.
I mean, but you still understand it though. Like,
I understand.
You don't need to know what it is, but you can see the quality in the build.
You know, one of the reasons I wanted to kind of do this, one, it fits this mural. It fits.
I mean,
this,
it literally
it
looks
fits
like
here.
it belongs.
Right,
here.
it belongs here. Right, it belongs here in the
yes.
collection. But the main thing is, I do business with people, not with cars, and I really liked you because you have a passion for this.
Thank you.
That's very contagious, and that's why I wanted you on the channel, because you don't feel that passion a lot with people that really know what makes something special. And when you shared it with me, I was like, okay, I'm never gonna drive this. I was like, the steering wheel hangs off. I mean, look at this. The steering wheel hangs off here. Like they literally put it on the car. It's a race car. We're gonna go in detail in it. I want you to share maybe with people what kind of body kits, what kind of modifications.
So this shop right here, AS Auto, this was their demo car. So essentially this is the car that represents their shop. They're building this car to the top quality, the best of the best. You know, all of their friends, you know, all of the resources help to build, you know, what represents them as a brand and as a company. So when you say demo cars from Japan, it's typically the top dog, which is what we call this, the top dog RX7. This is a RMC body kit, so it's a separate brand. A lot of carbon, basically a GT3 Cup car, RX7. There, they really like to make sure that these cars can drive on the street. You know, typically race cars are not very, they don't have good street manners. With all that being said, the car still drives like a normal car, aside from all the crazy noises it makes. It's essentially an open checkbook build. It's actually painted the same color as his NSX, which is the mica yellow from NA2, 02, 03, 04. And
which is why I really thought it would look great here, because it's kind of matching paint. What did you say this color? RMC?
So, RMC. So it's reflection of efficiency, and Amemiya is his last name.
RMC.
Reflection of efficiency. So which is what an RX-7 is. It's about how efficient a car needs to be. It's not about making too much power or, you know, over gripping or less gripping. It's just perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Engine is small, but it creates a lot of power. Although this car's a crazy looking race car and people are gonna be like, oh my God, that thing's gotta make 1,000 horsepower. There's a guy on YouTube, I don't know if you know him, Rob Dahm, he builds it? Okay. Yeah.
He would probably jerk off over this, right?
He would probably, but it's a different style of build.
Would he tell you to go fuck yourself?
No, I'm not gonna say it. No, he builds crazy shit, but this is like almost an endurance race car. He kind of builds more show car, maybe time attack, you know. Now he does build crazy shit, but his 4-rotor RX-7, for, you know, it's a 2 or 3 lap car. You know, this is.
I don't know nothing about this, so like, when you're telling me
2-3 laps, and you got to shut down the car. The car is really hot. There's too much shit going on. This is built to go 40.
This is like a full race car.
This is 40-50 laps. Okay. Yeah, this is an endurance machine.
And you heard that it'll be doing basically 0 laps.
Yeah. So it's a Revolution side port engine.
What does that mean?
Side port is the way that they port the housings on the rotors. It's just a way of that the engine makes power and how it's ported. The car is fully spot welded, so the whole chassis has been completely spot welded and painted in order to make the chassis a little stiffer. Bars have been added from shock towers to the front frame rails connected together. It's got a TO4R ball bearing turbo. It has the craziest cooling system and the craziest heat management that I've ever seen on a car. It has power steering cooler. It has a fuel cooler. So they're monitoring the temperature on the female to male of how cold and how hot the fuel is coming into the fuel cooler. So when you're starting to monitor small things like that, you're really chasing the most efficient and the smallest things to dial in a car. The dial-in process in Japan is above and beyond.
Didn't you say it shoots fires from the tires or something?
No, so so the car compresses, it makes so much downforce that this wheel going around a corner and starts shooting sparks out the side of the car.
Let's take a look here inside the car. Come on this side, you got, how many point race cage?
This is a full race cockpit. For a street car, which is insane, everything is custom, everything is dry carbon. It's got a Mazda JGTC sequential gearbox. We just did a rebuild that cost $26,000.
So for people that are mentally retarded like me about these cars, what is sequential gearbox?
Sequential gearbox is essentially you could drive the car and you could shift it with no clutch. It has a very short ratio transmission, as in you have to shift it fast all the time. That is the safest and the most efficient way for a race car to have a transmission. That's why factory race cars and everything going forward, like a GT3 would have sequential gearbox.
Exactly.
Now they have paddles, but it kind of takes
so it's like basically a manual paddle, like kind of.
You could drive the car like a manual. You have to use the clutch to put it in first gear, and then you could drive it when you're warming the trans up. You put the clutch and you go into each gear. You got $12,000 braking system on a 2,500 pound car. Depending on how fast you're going, if you're scrubbing or nose diving or whatever you're doing, you need to be adjusting how much pressure, as if you're in a video game, literally.
Right.
You're just adjusting, 60-40, 50-50, 40-60 all the way around. And to have that on board is kind of like I told you, it's just like really chasing that final limit of the car. They moved the fuel cell closer to the cockpit. So in here, they've made an entire carbon firewall. So the car, you cannot see out the back.
Yeah, and I noticed the rear view has basically a digital
so it's got a camera,
going on.
Hidden in here so that you can see out the back, because this is fully enclosed. Car's done 2,600 miles, probably 1,000 on the street and 1,600 on a track, but it's gentleman driven. This is like a gentleman's race car.
You know, when you spend 6 figures on a car, you usually don't expect it to have an old man pissing bag attached to it. I mean, think about it. Like, you have an old man, can't take a piss on his own, so he has to piss in a bag. Or you buy a $100K car, and it basically comes with a pissing bag, right? I mean, that has to be the greatest piece of equipment on an exotic car hacks ever.
Just a couple of quick things. Typically like weld porn. Some guys will be like, "Oh, these welds are ugly," but this is very motorsport, very mechanical.
Did you just call that a weld porn?
Weld porn is a thing when people are like, they have to make this shit look like it's like it's.
I mean, we know gangbangs and
Weld porn's a new ball game, bro. It's a new subgenre.
So you're teaching us something new here.
Yeah, 100%.
So make sure you Google weld porn on Pornhub to see if what you come up with.
You're gonna find some weird shit, bro.
You're gonna see some fucking farmers only shit going on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You see all the spot welds, all the gussets. It's 20 gallons. I forgot exactly how many liters, but all the dry carbon bits. Chassis mounted, one-off Esprit GT wing, custom made for this car.
So they spend a lot of money on this thing, basically getting it here, like that shop you were talking about.
I think it's money and time. Like, this is an evolution of like 25 years of building a car. You don't just like build this shit right away. It's kind of
So why the fuck did they sell this?
People get old, bro. The guy had this car, I think, since 1997. He's been building this car. Obviously, nothing is old on the car.
See, that's why you need to stay in school, kids. You don't want to go and build a car for 25 fucking years.
No, but maybe you get too old, you can't get in and out of the car. This is definitely for a younger cat, somebody who's got the bread to go have some fun and not worry about things.
All right, so final notes. I know you told me it's got a $14,000 braking system, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit briefly about the body.
Yeah, so the car's got dry carbon hatch, dry carbon front fender, a lot of dry carbon aero, dry carbon doors, and then obviously throughout. The rest of the kit is fiberglass. That's what RE builds, glass kits.
Is this hood considered part of that same kit?
No,
or
this is
like a third party?
This is a Scoot sports hood, which is old school like Wangan racing, street racing shop that builds crazy fucking cars, but it's got that Viper look with the front end here.
I love the hood. I think it's crazy looking.
I love the fucking hood.
I just hate these pop-up headlights and shit, so I love how they did this.
You like the fixed?
Yeah, I like the fixed
So it's got like double xenon, IPFs,
The fact that we're even talking about xenon headline in like 23 going 20, I should have said 24 now that the.
But the thing is that like they don't make this shit, so now you have to find a custom size to make it fit in there. It's not just like, oh, I ordered it on my brand new.
So the argument becomes, this isn't drivable in the sense that I'm sure it's fun, but what happens when you have parts go bad is like, you were telling me like to build the transmission was like insane.
So the transmission was the only thing that you can't.
That's what I mean. Like, so what happens if transmission goes?
You rebuild it again, but the guy already.
Man, you can't.
We haven't done one here because it's a factory Mazda race trans.
I understand.
So these transmissions never even made it to the United States. So we took it to a guy who specializes in Hewlands. Now he knows how to do it. So we were, unfortunately, the idiots who had to pay $26,000 to do that. So, going forward, you don't have to worry about that. Motors, everything on the car is replaceable. Everything you can buy, you can.
So you can still buy like fender if something.
You can buy every single thing on this car. You could buy, except the trans, only because it was from 1993 racing series. You know, it's kind of just a flex to have a factory Mazda race trans.
So you heard that? It's a flex.
Yeah,
Mazda
it's always a flex.
Everything. I don't know why, but I still have this.
Yes.
But I have a roof too and a pissing bag in the back. So you know, there you have it, guys. Look. A lot was covered here today. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to walk you through this because Danny was here, and honestly, I know nothing about this car. It's basically a showpiece here for the garage, so it's not gonna get a lot of track time. I know you're gonna hate me on YouTube. You're gonna tell me I'm an asshole for not driving it, because there's a guy right now sitting at home jerking off who's like telling me like, oh my God, this is my dream car. You know what I would do? How many car shows I would go to? How many people?
We can go to a track day though.
Yeah, maybe you drive. I'll stall out 7 times.
No, it's easy to drive. I'm gonna teach you how to drive it now.
All right, so in the next video, he's gonna show me how to drive this so you can make sure I don't hit a wall with it. So hopefully I won't die. We'll catch that. We'll get that on tape. If I die, Reggie will be in the car with me. So basically,
we got insurance.
The two of us, well, you know, like, I mean, we'll figure shit out. If he's on fire, you know, like we put him out. But anyhow, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us know what you think. Is this the coolest RX-7 you've ever seen? Or is there better? I'd love to hear from you. Put it in the comments. And next time, we'll be learning how to drive it. Thanks again for showing up.
Absolutely, man.
And guys, make sure you check out RMC Miami in the link in the description as well.
Thank you, sir.
Peace. My name is Pejman Gadimi, and I teach people how to drive exotics for free. Let's look here at how this Huracan can cost as little as $300 a month.